Welcome to Borough Fan TV. James Hutchinson here, presenting a special night before the final show. Joining me to preview the European Championship 2020 final between Italy and England are Damon LaRoche, David Campbell and Tony Guest. Welcome aboard, lads.
Welcome aboard.
Good evening, lad.
Evening.
What song's that?
Get it in early while I can.
How good does it sound? England against Italy in the final, Tony. How good is that?
I don't, James. It's just, I don't believe it, mate. I think all of us, it hasn't sank in. You know what I mean? So much going through my head. What I should be doing, or am I doing everything that I should be doing? Because England are in a final. We just don't know how to react. Do you know what I mean, James? It's a bit confusing, really. But I tell you what, it's one of the we go through life with experiences. It's one of the best feelings I've had with sport. Absolutely amazing night, unbelievable. It was that good. I thought, right, listen to a bit of the gobshites at the end, your Roy Keanes and that. Then I took Cameron home. I said, we'll go up the town. It's bound to be bouncing up the town. So we got in the car, went into Middlesbrough. I think there was more in my garden than what there was up the town. I was devastated, you know what I mean? Then you put the news on and you see what's happening, you know, around the country. I thought, come on, Middlesbrough, we're better than this, you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping Sunday night, if things go to plan, it's a bit more lively, you know what I mean, James?
I'm sure it will, Tony. I bet you the people of Middlesbrough are saving themselves up for tomorrow night in a big celebration, fingers crossed, after the game finishes. As Tony says,
after what we experienced in 2018, it was a bit of a surprise, really.
Yeah. Maybe something to do with when the games have fallen, Tony, possibly with them being midweek and stuff like that. Yeah. But like I say, see what happens tomorrow. As Tony said there, we're going to look back at that famous semi-final victory over Denmark that happened on Wednesday. We'll also have a quick look at the Italy-Spain semi-final before previewing the big one tomorrow, where England take on the Azzurri in the final at Wembley for the European Championships. David, I'll come to you first, looking at the Denmark match, going back to that. It wasn't the easy game that some people anticipated. I think we all thought it was definitely going to be harder than Ukraine, but it was a really difficult match against the Danes. For the first 30 minutes or so, they really harried us out of our stride, didn't they? And one or two people were a little bit critical of Jordan Pickford's display at times. What were your thoughts on the opening half hour in particular, mate?
They came out guns blazing with a point to prove. I mean, before the game, I knew it was going to be an extremely tough task. I seen you guys mentioning it on last week's show, which I missed. But yeah, I was expecting them to come out guns blazing, and they did. And for me, we just looked nervous. And the free kick was a wonder free kick. But then after we got the equaliser, we settled into the game and started taking the front foot. And Southgate's got it absolute spot on with his tactics, even towards the end when he had to sub Grealish to bring on that extra wing back for possession. He's just got his tactics right throughout the tournament. But I must say how good it is for getting in the final that all we've seen over the years, rugby get to the England finals, cricket, all been success. We've not had it in football, and this is the time to shine.
I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. Tony, David alluded to it there. We obviously went behind to the Dalsgaard free kick. How crucial was it then that we equalised within 10 minutes of that?
Like you said, I said to the young one, I said we need to get back into it before half time. But when they scored, it never really bothered me. I always felt we were going to get back into it. I felt we started okay for 10, 15 minutes. Then, you know, I think we've done it in a couple of games where we've sat back and tried to keep possession. You know, the way Southgate likes us to play now. But like you say, they seem to get a foothold in the midfield. But like you've just said there, James, Dave, these games are massive. They're massive occasions, and they're for big time players. And if we do have a weakling in our team, I think that semi-final was too big of an occasion for Jordan Pickford from the first minute to the last. You know, he did show up as our weakest link, and you're only as strong as your weakest player. And them Italians, they'll have been watching that. And for me, he showed his true colours on Wednesday night, which is a bit worrying. I think he got to a stage in the second half where I think someone must have said to him, "Don't take a touch anymore on your kicks, just get rid of it," because that one he threw out straight to the Danish lad's foot. You know, so he needs to have a good long look at himself in the mirror. But apart from that, I thought we were immense. You know, obviously Denmark got the goal. I still feel Pickford should have got it. It just seemed to be in the air for a long time when it went in. But that goal was crucial. You know, we got in a minute before where Sterling hit the keeper.
Yeah.
And then the equaliser, that ball from Harry Kane was just unbelievable. Yes. You know what I mean? And the stick, he's just proven a hell of a lot of people wrong about how good of a footballer he is, because that ball through to that kid, Saka, for the goal, it was absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. And like you say, James, it was vital we got level before half-time, because they'd have regrouped at half-time. Maybe he's, you know, went early and shored up a bit earlier. But like I think after 60, 65 minutes, their legs were gone anyway, James.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of time.
On Pickford, he has kept us in the game at crucial times, hasn't he? Especially against Germany. Yeah. And I think what's been refreshing for Pickford throughout the tournament, he hasn't really been involved in the game. As in, like, from past tournaments, he got himself too much involved in the game and too hyped up, and he got overexcited. I haven't seen that. Joe Hart. Yeah, like Joe Hart. I haven't seen that all tournament up until against Denmark, and I thought he was too involved. He was too vocal, and
the occasion was too big for him.
It was, yeah. But
don't forget, he's one of the few players who haven't experienced Champions League, or you know, he hasn't played in any cup finals or nothing. You know what I mean? So hopefully it'll calm him down before the final.
Yeah. Do you think, in a way, though, Damon, that maybe people are focusing, and as David rightly says there, Pickford's pulled off some crucial saves in the games against Germany, Croatia. He's pulled off important saves at important times of games, but maybe people focused on his performance a lot the other evening because of his opposite number, Kasper Schmeichel's performance, because he was outstanding, wasn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, Schmeichel is a good keeper, no doubt, but Pickford, he doesn't show up for everything, but when he puts on the England shirt, he shows up. Yeah. And he's what I like about Pickford. He's a leader from the back. He's shouting at his defence. I mean, he told off Maguire in the game, didn't he? He was shouting at him, saying, "Get the ball up front." And you know, it's just the way it's just the way he is. He gets the ball. He gets it. Gets the grip with the game. And I like Jordan Pickford.
He's not bad for Mackham, is he?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's about the best we've got, but yeah, I'm just hoping and praying he just keeps his head tomorrow night.
Yeah, eventually, we'll be going to obviously it'll be Dean Henderson in that goal, won't it? So, but he needs to move away from Man United. So, for me.
You want to say something, Tony?
Yeah, I think Pickford will be number one for a long time. Yeah, but like we've seen with Southgate, you know, it's something we've done in the past where we've had a number one and we haven't used any other goalkeepers. But in qualifiers, I think Southgate's been sharing it about, and like you say, the caps column with our goalkeepers now, they're all getting they're all getting caps under the belt. Where in the past, it's the number one. If you were number one, you were playing every game.
Yeah, I agree with the rotation. Exactly.
David, just again at the Denmark match, looking back at that, as Tony mentioned there, the Danes had time to regroup at half-time after they got level, but I think it was noticeable that they couldn't sustain the high press that they employed in the first half as the game went on. It had obviously taken a lot out of them, and you could noticeably see the game changing, the momentum changing as the second half progressed, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, they were in the extra time, weren't they, in the quarters, and you could tell they were starting to get tired. And to be fair, I was thinking we should have made substitutions a lot earlier than we did, because you could tell how tired they were, and he was reluctant to bring on the likes of your Grealishes. I think if he'd have been a bit more bolder from half time, we could have had that game wrapped up a lot more sooner. With like Rashford, Kane started looking tired, and I think fresh legs would have won it. But look, we got the result, and Denmark have been, the unsung heroes throughout this tournament, and they've played really good football. And our mate Braithwaite, as much as I disagreed with him in a bullshit, I think him and his nation have done the whole competition proud.
Yeah, they're one of the major standout stories of this tournament. And Tony, somebody that maybe hasn't had the greatest of tournaments so far, but certainly was up there for me in man of the match contention the other evening, was Kyle Walker. What did you make of his display on Wednesday night?
I hope he plays like that tomorrow, James. He was immense. That's the Kyle Walker from 2-3 years ago. He was absolutely immense, James. His recovery runs. He's most probably the only player on this planet who can make up that yardage running back towards his own goal. You know what I mean? And he was absolutely unbelievable for me. Yeah. There was a lot of fan players the other night, but Kyle Walker was absolutely fantastic, especially the position he plays, James. You know what I mean? Where he's expected to get up and down, but the amount of covering and the amount of yardage he makes running back towards his own goal, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yes.
You touched upon earlier, Guesty, for me, Sterling has been the unsung hero for us. I mean, he's still, I don't know how, but he's still getting criticism now, and he's carried us, hasn't he? At times, he's not just with his goals, just because he doesn't beat 4 men and put it in the top corner like he was doing at Liverpool, but his overall play, he's just absolute unbelievable player. Absolutely unbelievable.
Sterling,
that's what he was doing. He was beating 4 men. He was beating 4 men the other night. That was Sterling at his best. He's a player of the tournament for me. Sorry, Damon.
Sorry, mate. Sterling, for me, though, he was, for even in 120 minutes, he still had the ball to run at their defence.
Yeah,
and he could have scored barring a good save. But Trippier was screaming for it, wasn't it? So he wanted the glory. But Sterling, for me, quality. It's quality.
Yeah.
Sorry, lad. Joe's equalised there. 89th minute.
I hope we don't have to go through anything like that tomorrow, Tony. I really don't.
I know.
Joe Scott's got in touch with us. He agrees with your thoughts, Tony, on Kyle Walker, said it's better performances in this tournament. Certainly, that was outstanding what he put in on Wednesday night. He was immense. And as we've mentioned there, Damon, about Raheem Sterling, he won the penalty, which ended up winning the game for England. Seen as quite contentious in some parts of Britain, shall I say Scotland, Wales, and other parts of Europe. Thought it wasn't a penalty. First of all, what were your thoughts on that penalty award? And do you think England should have maybe had a penalty earlier in the game in the 90 minutes when Harry Kane went down in the second half? What were your thoughts on the 2 penalty shouts?
The Harry Kane one for me was definitely a penalty. I don't know what the referee was seeing. And the second one, the number 5, is it that Joachim Mele or something for Denmark? I can't pronounce his name. He clipped ever so slightly clipped Sterling, didn't he? So definitely both penalties for me. But I'm biased, I'm going to say that. So
I thought the opposite, to be fair. I didn't think neither were.
Yeah,
I thought it was a complete assault on Sterling, and I thought one of them should have been sent off. And you know what I mean? It was that bad of a foul. They should have given us 2 penalties.
All right, Neil Warner.
It was. I don't care. It was a penalty all day long, wasn't it? The thing is, the referee gave the penalty. You know what I mean? VAR didn't give the penalty. It was up to VAR to prove that the referee got it wrong. The referee got it right. The referee gave the penalty, so it's a penalty. You know what I mean?
If Denmark had got it, we'd have said, "Oh, that was a penalty." Then would we?
I'd have been fuming.
What was your thought? What was your thought?
Their free kick, Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw didn't touch their lad. All Luke Shaw done was challenge for the ball. He jumped for the ball and he So you can say the same about their free kick. It wasn't a free kick. You know what I mean? So
Sterling got touched, but he was already going down before he got touched. So that he moved his body weight to the left, and when he did that, he was already stumbling, and then he got knocked.
It's clever play, isn't it? That's what it is.
The lad kicked his leg, and the other one knocked him over. They got him, both of them. The poor lad, the tag team Sterling didn't they both? I've seen the size of them as well.
Yeah, centre half, he was an absolute giant, him, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, he won't be at Southampton much longer. What an amazing centre half he is. Brilliant.
Rob Henry's been in touch, lads. He said, "Evening, boys. I'm not going to lie, Pickford scares me after the Denmark game, but I've now lived to see the Borough and England get the major finals." And David, I'm going to throw this one across to you from Michael Pellin. Thanks for watching again, Michael. He's saying the two best teams in the tournament are in the final, and against Denmark, Declan Rice was man of the match. I personally think we need to beat the Italians, I think, in 90 minutes. Otherwise, their game management will appear. Just bringing it about the Declan Rice, I was talking before we came on air with Damon. I actually thought that both in our game and in the Italy games, the midfields or the sides that won, I don't think their midfields were the better teams overall on the night. I thought our midfield too struggled a little bit, Phillips and Rice on Wednesday. And I also thought Busquets dominated the game for Spain against Italy the night before. I don't know if you agree or...
100%. I couldn't have said it better. I mean, Phillips and Rice, we've got through the tournament with them. It would be harsh to drop them.
Yeah.
But for me, every time the ball was bypassing our midfield and it was like watching the Borough, it just kept coming back and forth. Yeah. For me, I think you need Henderson in there against Italy because not just because of his experience, but he's good in possession.
Yeah.
And it'll calm the game down. Phillips and Rice were just getting caught out of possession too much, like it was bypassing them. And
we're getting caught out of position as well.
But they're streetwise, the Italians, and if they can win any free kicks or anything, they're going to do that. So I think you need that calm and collective person in midfield. So I would like to see Henderson in there personally.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad shout, David. I don't. And Tony, I was just going to come to you as well. We talked earlier in the show as well about Gareth Southgate and his tactical changes in matches, and he's not got them wrong so far. And he's made one or two during games or before matches, and people have like raised an eyebrow. Some people did it again on Wednesday when he took Jack Grealish off, who had only been brought on as a sub, but he took him off at the start of the second period of extra time, and you can't criticise it, can you?
No, I can't believe people have. I listened to Talk Sport on the evening, and after the game, and a Villa fan came on, absolutely disgusted. He thought England was shite, and taking Jack Grealish off. What's Southgate doing? He hasn't got a clue. Now, I don't like Jason Cundy, but that's the first time I've heard him speak sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. What a massive call, James. He brought the kid on, to get us in front. We got to where we wanted to be. We were a goal up with 15 minutes left, and he made the right choice. A lot of people were saying, why didn't he take Sterling off or someone else who'd been on, you know what I mean, who'd give their all and leave Grealish out there. But the man knows exactly what he's doing, and they're absolutely massive decisions that he's making, and he's not afraid to make them, James. On the Rice and Phillips thing, James, I think that them two were way off the pace for the first 20-25 minutes as well.
Yeah.
Our commentary friends, Matterface and Dixon, who we were just talking about, were saying how much our back four were being exposed. The only reason they were being exposed because them two were on walkabouts for the first time, you know what I mean? And there was no, we weren't getting the second ball, and they were out of position. Phillips seemed fit, looked as if he was a bit one-paced for the first 20-25 minutes, and until we got a foothold. So, like you say, the Italians will notice that as well. But
sorry,
like both teams, I think, like you say, they've got the kid from Chelsea. What's he called?
Jorginho.
Yeah, they've got him. He's a decent player, but I think that's both teams' weakest links at the moment, especially like you say in the semi-finals. So
they're three centre midfielders, or Locatelli, Verratti, Jorginho. If we don't win that battle in centre midfield, that's going to change the course of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I'm with you on that, Tony, what you said. I thought that whether it was nerves or whatever, because I mean, at the end of the day, and this isn't a dig at Phillips or Rice, but again, as you said with Jordan Pickford earlier on, these are the biggest games by far these lads have played. So don't play major club competitions for Leeds or West Ham. So they're going into a European semi-final. And I just thought maybe the occasion got the better of them a little bit. I mean, hey, we came out at the other end of it and we'd won the game, but they're going to have to step up a whole new level tomorrow night if we're going to win that, aren't they?
Especially against seasoned pros like these Italians, you know what I mean? And you know, they both seem to have a decent temperament anyway. So I can't see, touch wood, I can't see either of them getting sent off or getting wound up. But like you say, they've really got to step up on Sunday, along with Pickford.
I think there was a quote from Chiellini. I don't know if it was the other day or today, that he said England have got the advantage because they've played at Wembley or throughout the tournament. I said, look, we won one game, we went to Rome, so he's got no excuses. And just because we'll have more fans in than probably what they have, it's a different ball game when you're actually on the pitch. You have to do the job on the field, don't you? So
the thing is, there's been no host nation as the James Damon. You know what I mean? There's been no host nation. You know, so it's just man games. You know what I mean? You know,
exactly. Tony.
Italy had the World Cup in 1990. They couldn't even win that at home. They finished third. They beat us in the third and fourth place playoff. You know, everywhere's got to have a host nation. It's just that the way UEFA have worked this one, there's been lots of different cities, which has been an absolute balls up. It's been an absolute joke, really. But we were fortunate to have, you know, we weren't guaranteed 6 games at Wembley because we weren't guaranteed to win our group. True. You know what I mean? Yeah. But by winning our group, we managed to only have to play one game away from Wembley.
And sometimes it can be a double-edged sword, can't it? Because you can be the host nation, and then the weight of expectation can weigh you down, and having all those supporters in the stadium. And sometimes that can be a difficult thing to handle. And as you said, Tony, didn't work for the Italians in Italia 90. In the last European Championships they held, they didn't get to the final of that. So
look what happened to Brazil, James.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Damon, if I take you back to sorry, David, I'll come to you in a second. Damon, I'm just going to take you back then. We got that penalty when Raheem Sterling was brought down. What emotions did you go through when Harry Kane was going up to take that penalty?
Oh, well, I mean, throughout the day anyway, up until game time, my nerves were shot anyway. So I was on edge all game. So me and my dad watching the game with my sister. My sister doesn't normally watch football, and my nephew doesn't either. And he's 18 coming up soon. So we all sat there watching the game, and honestly, we were all sweating when Harry Kane missed it, and then he put the rebound in, and then it just erupted in our house. Honestly, I was surprised, like I said, the furniture didn't fall off our wall.
David, I was going to say we've been maybe critical of one or two players from that game, but how encouraging is it that maybe we didn't perform at our best? We went a goal behind. We hadn't let a goal in the whole tournament. We went behind, conceded a goal, and yet we've came out the other side through that adversity and still won the game.
Yeah, we needed that test going a goal behind, didn't we? Just to see the reaction of the players, and they've come out the other end of the tunnel. And yeah, I think a lot of decisions are looking our way, that it's our year, and I don't want to tempt fate on that. But when you see decisions like the Sterling, or for me personally, and it reminded me of the Hartlepool game where they should have had 2 goals, and sometimes you just think it's your tournament when those decisions go your way. I think against Italy tomorrow, it's vital that Kane doesn't get in a battle with Bonucci and Chiellini. He needs to drop deep and then turn the players, because if he comes against a battle against these 2 warriors, like Guesty was saying earlier, they'll just pick us apart. Get them turning, many
we'll
behind.
Just run the legs off them.
Yeah, that's what we need to.
we've got players who'll just run the legs off them 2 old fellas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you'll.
I think they're too wily for that, Tony. They're too wily for that, mate.
On Monday morning, you'll see him outside Birchie Avenue post office getting a pension. Sterling, Saka, Kane, and absolutely run the legs off them 2 old codgers at the back tomorrow. I have every faith in them. On the Harry Kane penalty, Damon, James, Dave, right? I must admit, I bottled it. Right, I went outside. I couldn't watch it. So once he'd scored the penalty, that was me. I didn't see none of the second half of extra time. I just couldn't bear it anymore. I put my heart monitor on my finger, and it was up to 125, and I was only sat in the chair. So I can't cope with this. I just went and sat in the garden till about, I think I come back in the last minute. Just as we give possession away after we kept the ball for a couple of minutes.
I mean, we were talking last week. Sorry, Troy. We were talking last week on the show after the Ukraine game, and we said about how comfortable it was to win a game like that, and it wasn't like how England do things. It wasn't comfortable on Wednesday night, but the way we finished the game and we managed the game in the second half of extra time, you always sitting there thinking the worst's going to happen and there's going to be a big chance for Denmark or there's going to be a big push on our goal. Just didn't materialise. And again, it's like a whole new way of working, a whole new mindset with this team that Southgate's put into them, isn't it, Tone?
Yeah, like I said, last night I sat down and I watched extra time last night, and how we managed it, like you say, the last 15 minutes of the 90 minutes and the first half of extra time, they just never got near us, you know what I mean? We were absolutely fantastic. Then obviously he brought Trippier on for Grealish, and we allowed them a little bit of possession, but they never put a glove on us, James. It wasn't, I know they had a couple of corners. Pickford throwing himself across the goal, making a save he didn't have to make off Braithwaite, but we just looked so comfortable. But when I was watching that last night, which one of the Danes went off? I still can't see which one of the Danes went off because they were down to 10 men.
It was Yusuf Paulson, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
somebody went off in the second half of extra time that I can't remember, to be honest. I can't remember it now, but someone did go off, yeah.
But like you said, we spoke about Pickford, Rice and Phillips there, but every single one of them players were absolutely immense. We forgot, we haven't mentioned Mason Mount yet. I thought he was a bit off the pace early on as well. That was over the line, that, by the way, referee. And Mason Mount was a bit off the pace early doors, but I thought he was absolutely fantastic second half.
Yeah.
But every one of them's made history. We can't sit here and criticise none of them now because they're all the second best England team ever.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to ask you, and I'll come to you each in turn now, and I'll start with you, Damon, first. Is that your most memorable evening watching England or your most memorable England match?
I think the Germany game was for me, considering the opponent who it was, and all the years that the Germans have done us. So it was nice to stick one over on the Germans. To be honest, I think that sits in mind for me, and it's just the whole tournament really in general. It's been a great memory so far, and I just hope it continues tomorrow and we win it.
Yeah. David, how about you? Was that the most memorable England performance you've seen, or other ones stand out for you?
No, it's the most memorable in terms of because of the achievement, really.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the redemption for Southgate. I mean, my first memory of the Euros tournaments was the '96 and what he went through and how the country turned on him and stuff. And you could just see how proud as Punch he was and how emotion he was getting after the match. And he's more than made up for it. I mean, we've all questioned him, but what an achievement he's done for this squad. And
definitely,
even if we don't win it, we can't underestimate how well we've done this tournament.
Yeah. And Tony, I mean, your England supporting and Borough following goes back many years. Where does that stand for you? What's tonight's achievement?
Oh, you go back. What you go back to 19, the 3-2 over Cameroon when we were getting beat 2-1. And we won that 3-2. That was an absolutely fantastic game. Holland 4-1. in the European Championships. Germany 5-1 in a qualifier.
Yeah.
But that, I've never, I'm 57 now, and I thought I could sit through a game, and to actually absolutely bottle it and have to go sit outside for the last 15 minutes of a game of football, that I've never felt like that. That was unbelievable, James. And that's only down to what's happened in the past. Denmark got a corner when it should have been a goal kick. And how many times you see your team score off a corner that wasn't a corner? Yeah. And that had me in the passage out the way, doing me head in, you know what I mean? I was all over the place, James, and I thought I could just sit there and enjoy it. And it was it has to be the biggest game, it is the biggest game since this one that I'm watching now that England have played in. So yeah, it's my most memorable game watching England by far. I know we beat the Germans for the first time, which another thing, they're it's the first time we've knocked a top nation out of a competition for God knows how many long, James. Mm-hmm. So this team's going places, and I hope, a good win tomorrow, it just sets us up nice for the World Cup.
I think, and for me, I think, lads,
this tournament, lads, has been the tournament of the underdog, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think the cream's come to the top, Damon.
Yeah. I think the testament to the job that Southgate's done is the fact that it wasn't so long ago, and I think we've done shows ourselves where people have said, "Oh no, it's international week. I can't be bothered with it," and people have been switched off a little bit in the past with England teams and following the England football team. And I know it changes when there's a tournament on, but there does seem to be a genuine feeling, I think, I might be wrong, in the country that people are right behind this team, Gareth Southgate and the players, for how they carry themselves, how they portray themselves. They seem very humble. There's no showiness about them like when you had the wags around with past squads. And I think this is a very different culture around this England team. And I think the people have taken that on board and they're like that. I might be wrong, lads, but that's how I feel.
It just goes to show one of the most hated players in the country, Jack Grealish, who gets the bed wherever he goes, gets absolutely tortured. Now, he's everybody's favourite footballer. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that just shows you how much the country's behind England.
Yeah.
Trying to get excited when you play San Marino, every country, doesn't matter if it's England or if it's going to be in Italy, when they play San Marino, they're not going to get excited for those types of qualifiers. But when it comes to major tournaments, we all seem to get together and we all just go ballistic, don't we?
But do you think maybe, David, that say we win tomorrow night, people will maybe jump more on board with England and things for like qualifying for the next World Cup, people will be more interested in that? Or do you think it'll just go back to how it always is?
Personally, I don't see it. Grassroots will go through the roof. I think more kids will get involved like they did with rugby when they won the Rugby World Cup. You'll see grassroots levels get stronger, but in terms of qualifiers against Italy, I'll hold my hands up against San Marino. I'm not interested in watching England San Marino. I'd rather watch Middlesbrough play on a Tuesday night away to Ipswich. That's me personally, but it can only be good for the country as a whole.
Of course it can. Yeah. Well, Rob Henry said, and he's quite right, it's going to be a very long 24 hours. It feels like an age since last Wednesday now, in the game with Denmark. We'll go back a night before that, though, to the other semi-final. And Tony, the Italy-Spain game, high-quality encounter, wasn't it?
Like you say, it was unbelievable. And everybody, I've done it myself in this competition, knocking Spain. You know what I mean? Saying it's not the Spain that they can't score goals. They're not the team they were. But, like you say, that, what's he called? Busquets from Barcelona. Busquets. Just absolutely run the show. High quality, football, passing. You look at the stats now, and I think the top 5 players who's made the most passes, they're all Spanish. You know what I mean, James? So, like you say, about 20 minutes into the first half, I thought, please, I hope Spain don't win because, I think, I figured out we'd have dealt with their passing and movement. You know what I mean? If they'd have had a decent striker like we've got, they'd have been unstoppable. You know what I mean?
Did you feel like that before the game, Guesty? Because I was actually wanting to play Spain over Italy.
Yeah, I wanted to play Spain over Italy. The only thing is that Italy definitely did miss that fullback. Is it Spinazzola?
Yeah.
They definitely missed him because that Emerson put a shift in, but he's not a patch on what he is. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But like you say, in the second half, Italy got the goal against a run of play, which shows you how dangerous they are. But Spain found a way. Spain found a way past them two old codgers at the back. You know, just a daft little triangle, and Morata was in. So it can be done, and we have the players with the movement and the pace that can do something similar. But yeah, James, it was of the highest quality. But like you say, I must say that Spanish goalie is one of the worst goalkeepers I've seen in any competition. How he's keeping David De Gea out of that goal is beyond me, because he just looked a bag of nerves from start to finish.
Yeah. I was going to bring you in, Damon, just mentioning here about what do you think the England coaching staff may have taken from that game, having watched Italy defeat Spain? Maybe some would have thought maybe a little fortunately. Joe Scott's got in touch again, and he's just said there, I don't think Immobile will be a threat tomorrow night, but Chiesa and Insigne will be. What do you think the coaching staff, Gareth Southgate and his team, will have taken from the Italy semi-final with Spain? What do you think they'll have made of it?
Well, I think you can take a lot of positives from it. He's certainly, as far as Guesty touched on it there, as far as like we good at playing them little triangles, and we can definitely cause them a lot of front. And I said our front four. I keep saying it to my dad. Our front four will cause a hell of a lot of problems for their back line. And my only doubt is that Chiesa and Insigne are quality. But if you snuff them out, as Carl Walker has been, as I say, mentioned this tournament, if you snuff them out, you've got a real good chance. You really have, because that's their attacking threat, and that's what they're good at. So
yeah.
The Spanish did it. The Spanish kept that Insigne quiet, didn't they?
Yeah. I was going to say, David, I mean, what's impressed you about the Italians through this tournament?
Actually, we always talk about how solid they are defensively, but offensively, I think they've played some really nice football in that diamond 4-3-3 that they play. They've been one of the outstanding attacking teams from what I think. Yeah, they haven't got an out-and-out scorer and Immobile, but the passing and the quick, the tempo of their passing is really quick, and I think that's what we're going to struggle with tomorrow, because apart from the second extra time against Ukraine, we haven't kept possession in games, and that's what worries me against these, because they're that streetwise that they'll just pick passes off you. And like Spain dominated the possession, I think that's the route we need to go down tomorrow.
Yeah.
It showed that if Italy go one goal up, though, Tuesday night, it shows if Italy go a goal up, you can still get the goal back. You look at the history of England-Italy games, and it's been 1-0, and we haven't looked, getting anywhere near them. They're always very close, tight games, you know what I mean? But, it's not like England-Germany where you've got the fear that the Germans always beat us. Yeah, Italy always have absolutely dominated us over past years.
Yeah,
but this is our turn. This is definitely our turn now.
We've got players on the bench who can do it as well.
Southgate's a master tactician, and I think he'll have something special up his sleeve for these Italians on Sunday. And he might just pick a team that will shock the lot of us. So you just don't know what the man's going to do. But everything he does do turns to gold.
Okay. Tony, what do you make of the news today that Phil Foden obviously didn't train with the squad today? The 25 players all trained, but Foden didn't because of an injury he's picked up. Would that concern you if he was unavailable tomorrow night? I mean, do you think he'd start, or do you think he'd be just again on the bench?
I think he's picked up a bit of a foot injury, but no, it wouldn't concern me. But even though he came on for extra time, and he just absolutely loved every minute of it. He was absolutely fantastic when he came on, you know what I mean? No, it wouldn't concern me. We've got Sancho, we've got Saka, we've got Rashford. You know what I mean? We've got so many different options. So no, it wouldn't concern me. But yeah, I'd like to see the kid. I'd like to see the kid start.
Yeah,
you know, but
that is starting tomorrow.
I think it might have just been a bit of a precaution, James, in case it got any worse. But I think you'll have a full squad to pick from.
Yeah, well, all will be revealed about, this time tomorrow night will be 15 minutes from kick-off. We'll know the starting lineup. Emma Garbutt's been in touch. Question for me. If England win tomorrow, how are you going to top Thursday's effort of decorating the house? Yeah, I did. I got a bit of grief off the wife for what I did. I ended up putting England shirts in every window of the house. She wasn't very impressed, but I have to top that tomorrow night if we win. But
Red and white flag on your drive.
It's what, mate?
Red and white flag painted on your drive.
Don't tempt me. There's loads of thoughts going through my mind. There's loads of thoughts. If anyone wants to send any suggestions, I'll consider them. I can't go any further than that. I certainly can't commit to it because I don't think I'll be staying here tonight. So we'll move on from that swiftly. Thanks, Emma. The final then, boys, tomorrow. Can you believe it? England against Italy. Biggest game in your lifetime. What's your plans for the day? Come to you first, Damon. Biggest game in your lifetime?
Absolutely. 100% biggest game in my lifetime. We've had a lot of our ache, haven't we? 55 years. I mean, my dad was only 10 when the 66 won the World Cup. So it'd be a tremendous achievement for my dad to see this lot win this, as well as me watching it with my dad. Shame my grandparents aren't here to watch it, but it's going to be amazing, and it's what we need for the nation after the tough 18 months that we've been through. We definitely need it.
David, what's your plans for tomorrow night? What are you doing?
Well, the missus is at work, so the kids will be going to sleep about 10:30 with us again. No, I said to the two boys, like, try remember this because you might never see it in our lifetime again. And I've been fortunate, like you guys, to see Borough win a major competition, which I never thought we would. So if we can do this as well, I think it's, in terms of sport, like memories, it's topped everything. Yeah. To see Borough lift a trophy, to see England lift a trophy, it's what we all love football for.
Totally. Spot on, mate. Nifty Gareth's just said, back to my challenge for tomorrow, paint the garden white and red. I can't even cut the garden, so I won't be doing that. And I'm certainly not doing what Michael Pellin's going to be indulging in. Each to their own, Michael, but if he wins, he's off down the road in his undercrackers with his flag. Yeah.
I don't want to know where the flag is. Jesus.
He might as well go the old log.
Yeah. Tony, I think there'll be a fair few people probably will be doing that tomorrow night, no doubt. I remember it in Centre Square when we beat Sweden a couple of years ago in the quarter-final. There was a bloke captured running through there with nothing on, wasn't there?
Yeah, I got the blame for it. The council Middlesbrough Council went mad with us for the following game. You know, use that Borough Fan TV, putting videos out of people streaking up past the town hall. So it was a BBC, you divvy, you know what I mean? And funny, he went running past me. I thought, saying, "Oh God, you had a right hand full on."
Humour. They need a sense of humour. That was council. It was pathetic.
Like you say, it just disappoints me that we haven't got nothing to experience like that. You know what I mean? And you know, a well-marshalled fan park. You know, we deserve something like that, but it's not to be. And like you say, at the moment, you're a bit safer in your house, aren't you? At the moment, I've just got a head full of Cartoon Network. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's absolutely, yeah, it's fucked me right up. Sorry for swearing, but
like that, mate.
I don't know whether I'm coming or going, James. Me and I were last in the car today. Sweet Caroline, come on. You know what I mean? You've given it that well, you drive. Oi. Unbelievable.
More importantly, James, you're not watching on that small telly, are you?
I don't know, because it's been, the story is I've been upstairs in the small room watching a little box telly because I watched the I'm trying to remember now what game it was. it was the Germany second half because I watched the Scotland game here, which we won't talk anymore about that. And I watched that downstairs. Dreadful. And I watched the Germany game here in the first half, and I went upstairs for the second half, and we all know that turned out. So then I thought, Wednesday, the semi-final, I went elsewhere to watch the quarterfinals. So I thought, I have to go upstairs for the semi-final. It's worked. It's the smallest TV. I think it was made in about 1970. It is in colour, in fairness, but it's the smallest TV out there that anyone on Teesside's got. But if we win, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So I might be in the little box room again tomorrow night watching that. So
you're on about superstitions the other night when Germany beat us in 2010. I think they had about 6 flags up outside, Dave Damon, you know what I mean? All on the fence, all on poles, big ones, little ones. The garden looked class. So when Germany beat us 4-2, I just took them all down, went out in the garden, and I lit the barbecue, and I just shot them all in the barbecue, you know what I mean? So this is the first competition where there hasn't been a flag up outside the house, you know what I mean? And even the wife's going out telling everyone now he hasn't put a flag up because they keep winning, you know what I mean? So there's no flags up. There's no... Cameron comes with his flag. There's no memorabilia. There's no Lucky Charms this time. There's nothing, you know what I mean? Just me, the telly. You know what I mean? So hopefully, you know, no flags, no decorations, just raw nevs tomorrow.
Yeah. Before we get to the predictions, lads, and everyone, the viewers that are watching that are sending in their predictions, so I've got Craig Cameron Close, Borough Fan TV themselves, Joe Scott. Each one's gone for a 2-1 England win, so we'll see if that confidence is shared amongst our panel here tonight. But before we get to predictions, Damon, do you think the 2 best teams have got to the final of this championship?
100%. They've both played. I mean, from our point of view, we've played magnificent. Not the best game against Scotland, but I'm not mentioning that. That's just a one-off. And as far as Italy go, they've been the best tournament. They've had the best tournament in a while. Because they didn't qualify for one tournament. I can't remember. I think it was the World Cup. They didn't qualify. So, and they've got no Pirlo, no De Rossi, no more. So I think we've got a chance. Absolutely got a chance.
David, I mean, how do you see Gareth Southgate approaching the game? What approach do you think Gareth will take? Do you think he'll be a unchanged starting lineup from the game against Denmark, or do you think he's got another surprise up his sleeve?
I think personally it'd be unchanged, but I'm going with what Guesty touched upon earlier, and I'd love us to just go on the front foot and catch us all by surprise and do something different. But he's got it right all tournament, so I think no matter what the starting line is up, we just need to get behind the lad straight away and go for it.
I like a few of these suggestions. Michael Pellin, simple suggestion, get a projector and get the full England team projected onto the front of your house. That might mean I might have to liberate a projector from school at some point to do that, because I haven't got one at the house at the moment. But that's a good idea. I like that. Gav McCallum, hope you're well, mate. He reckons it's going to be tight tomorrow, 0-0 until 80 minutes, and Sterling to win it in the last 10. Oh, Tony, can England be the team that ends Italy's 33 match unbeaten run? I mean, that's a hell of a run. 33 matches. Doesn't matter who you're playing against, to go that many games undefeated. Can we be the team that does it tomorrow?
Someone's got to beat them, James. They've got to lose sometimes. I'm just looking there, Rob Henry. I can see us winning on pens. I thought he said he couldn't see us winning on pens. I was just going to have a go at him there. Italy, like you say, I remember us beating Italy. We played in America, James. I don't know whether you remember, whether you were old enough. It's 77.
Yeah.
And we played in a stupid American baseball stadium or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were beating us 2-0. And it's one of the few memories I have of us beating them. We beat them 3-2. Remember Keegan in the World Cup qualifier, we beat them 2-0, but we were already out. Beat them 2-0 at Wembley. But there's not many occasions where I can remember beating the Italians in big games. So, But things have changed now. Like Damon's just said, there's no Baggios, there's no Perlos. You know, what was the other one they used to have? Seen him on the telly the other day. De Rossi, Roberto, Bettega, back years. Some fantastic footballers.
Cannavaro.
Mancini's done a similar job to what Southgate does. He's just galvanised them and brought them together. He's got no big time Charlies in the squad, you know. But for personally, I think, is it Insigne? I think he's a one-trick pony. If you can stop him cutting in on his right foot, he's done. He's out the game. You know what I mean? So
I agree with that.
I think Harry Maguire and John Stones, Immobile and Insigne haven't impressed me at all as strikers. So man for man, I think if you look at man for man, I think on paper, touch wood, I think we're better than them, and I think we're better than them to beat them in the 90 minutes. You know what I mean, James? After the semi-final, I said to Cameron, I said the final's got 0-0 all over it, and it'll finish on penalties. But the more the week's gone on, the more confident I've got, and I think we'll beat them in the 90 minutes.
Ooh. Go on, so you've gone first. So you think we're going to do it in 90 minutes, Tone?
Yeah, I think we'll win 2-0, James.
2-0. Oh, it's real confidence. That Michael Pellin says we've got to beat them in the 90 minutes because otherwise the Oscar Academy, some people might call it game management, will come into play. David, what about you? What's your prediction? Tony's gone England winning 90 minutes.
To be honest with you, I think if it goes in extra time, that suits us because of the pace we've got coming off the bench. But I don't want it to get to that stage. So I actually think we're going to. I personally, I think we're going to win it 1-0 in the 90 minutes. 1-0
in the 90 minutes. Gary Campbell, another one who's going along with you there, David. He's just said there it's going to be very close, but with a frenzied crowd, I can see them helping us to a 1-0 win in normal time. What about yourself, Damon? You think England will win in the 90 minutes?
It's gonna be close, but I've gone for 2-1. I've had a bet 2-1. So with Kane and Sterling to score.
2-1, right? Whoa. There'll be some very upset people in Scotland and Wales if this ends up happening. I'll tell you that now, lads. Going back to biggest games of our lives and things like that, Johnny Amore's been in touch. Thanks for getting in touch, Johnny. He said the biggest game of my lifetime was Borough winning the Carling Cup and meeting the players. He raised £3,000 the holistic care ward at James Cook Hospital. Brilliant. Dancing with Janino in the car park, Danny Mills, Knight and Gareth Southgate, hard to beat. So he's saying, I'm from a family assembly, we had our flags out. So obviously, club country, we've spoke about this before, but irrespective of all that, Tony, it's a massive, massive occasion for even people that aren't really interested in football tomorrow night. It's just a huge occasion for the whole country, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely, unbelievably massive. Like Dave's touched on it earlier. Go back, you've seen the country buzzing because England hockey team, Great Britain hockey team have won a gold medal at the Olympics. You know, Robin Cousins has won a skating competition, you know, and the country goes mad. And then things start to get a bit better with the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, which was, you know, which is now going to be my second favourite day ever after tomorrow. You know what I mean? This is the ultimate. This is what we've all, like you say, for 50-odd years, everyone who's lived it, everyone who's passed away, who hasn't witnessed it, we've all been waiting to witness this for a long, long time, James. And I think that's a massive part, what's uniting the country as well, because kids in the, like you say, young lads in the 20s and the 30s have experienced a bit of hate. You know what I mean? And everyone's had hate with England. But now, this is a new chapter. And like Damon said there, and Dave said, you know, watch the game because you might never, ever see it again in our lifetime. I think them days are over now, Dave. I really think this is, you know, the beginning of a good 10 years of dominance for England. You know, when you look at it now, the World Cup's in 18 months. Our best team's on the bench. You know what I mean? Our best, you know, we've got better players on the bench than what we've got starting the games. And that says a lot.
Yeah, I'll echo what you say there, Tony, about as a country in a sporting sense, we've had some big occasions, such as England winning the Rugby World Cup and the cricket team winning the Cricket World Cup 2 years ago. But I think the whole nation better get prepared, because if England win tomorrow, the scenes that they'll see will absolutely knock spots. And that's no disrespect, but to those two occasions, they'll absolutely knock spots off. If the football team win a major tournament, it'll be like something we've never seen before, won't it, David?
And when you talk about
I want the Riverside to be like Buenos Aires in '78 if we went tomorrow. I want everyone down that Riverside in the cars, hanging out with their flags out, just having an absolutely massive party.
Yeah.
It just shows how much football for the English nation, how important it is, because we're all about giving a bank holiday if we win it. Now, no other country's done that. No other sport has done that within England winning something. So I think that just shows how much football means to this English nation.
Definitely. And just to top it off, Michael Pellin said, if we win, it's all round his house for a Palmo, true Ali Brownlee style. So there you go. Lads, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this special show the night before the final. Hope it's filled a little gap for everybody out there. No, I think there'll be a few people that are going to struggle to get some sleep tonight, because they'll be thinking about what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. But as we said, it's the biggest game for this country in 55 years. My thanks to the three lads for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed it, boys.
Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having us, James.
No worries. What we're going to do is, obviously, we normally have the Monday night show. We're just going to let the dust settle on things and maybe let hopefully a few hangovers wear away a little bit. And we'll delay the Monday night show by 24 hours this week, and we'll have that on Tuesday instead, where we'll look back on the final. And also, as we've said, Borough have got their first pre-season game at Bishop Auckland on Wednesday, so we'll do a fair bit of Borough chat as well. But whatever you're doing tomorrow, everybody out there, enjoy the day. As we've said, these days don't come around too often. Enjoy it. It's a special occasion. From us all at Borough Fan TV, try and get some sleep, because tomorrow it's coming home. From us all here at Borough Fan TV, good night. Come on, England.
Come on, England.
Cheers, boys.